Serbian baritone David Bijic, powerful and colorful voice, has been taking him all over the world, making some very impressive debuts in the last few seasons, including here at the Met. He's just made his debut in the role of Albert in Massenet's Werther alongside Jonas Kaufmann and Sophie Koch. Other important performances include his North American debut at the LA Opera singing Leporello and Don Giovanni, and leading roles at the Grand Théâtre de Genève, the Vienna State Opera, the Paris Opera, National Opera, the Teatro Real in Madrid, and the Royal Opera House in London. And we're really happy to have David Bijic here at the Metropolitan Opera, having made his debut. Hi.
Hello, and I'm so happy to be here as well.
What was it like debuting?
Oh, it was... well, it was a dream come true. You know, when I decided to become an opera singer, that was like many years ago, I gave myself the impossible mission. And the most impossible one for me was actually to sing on the stage of Metropolitan Opera. That's like the dream of every singer in the world, I would say. And, well, a few days ago, it became true. So now I have another mission.
That's right. Now you have to find something else to do.
Yes, and I did actually. I have decided to come back here many times as possible.
Is that the kind of thing you do? Do you set yourself goals?
I do. I give myself the one big one, you know, the one that is so impossible that it has to lead me all the way. I mean, nothing easy for me.
People say that's the way to do it, to set a goal and just keep it in your mind, you know, creative visualization. Just imagine you're going to do it.
It's true. It's always it's like singing phrases in opera. When you sing a big phrase, you have to sing through the whole phrase to get to the end. And usually the punchline is at the end, you know, the point of the whole phrase.
Let me ask you about that, because they say sports figures do the same thing. They play out the play, or sometimes they play out the whole game, no matter, you know, if that's the way it's going to go or not. Does that work for an artist on the stage?
I think it does. You know, when I am in music, I like to imagine myself being like a bird and watching the music and music lines, music score from the bird perspective, flying over it and just picking up those notes as I fly over them, instead of being inside and like picking the fruits from the tall tree and working too much. I just like to fly over the whole thing. So this is how I see music, how I see myself in it.
Interesting that you should say you're above it, looking down at it, rather than trying to fly up to it.
The moment you start flying up, you lose your ground, you lose power. So it's better to fly from the very beginning.
So after the first night, after opening night ended and the curtain came down, how did you feel?
I don't remember, actually.
Really?
It's really, somebody sent me a video on YouTube of the curtain call, and I remembered everything. But that very moment was so emotional for me. I don't remember ever crying on stage, or I mean, like after the curtain goes down. I was so overwhelmed with the emotion that I almost broke down. I had some tears in my eyes, and that was actually the first time I felt that emotional.
Yeah. Massenet's Werther is about a poet who falls in love with a woman who has been promised to another man, and you are that other man, Albert. And it seems to me Albert is the direct opposite of Werther. He's a man who likes to do what's right, and he likes to keep his emotions and commitments manageable, sort of all lined up. How do you see him?
Well, exactly like this. I think he's a strong guy. He knows what he wants. In our production he's a military man, but in the original Massenet he's just a businessman, man who goes away for a long time for business. He's very practical and pragmatic, and his marriage doesn't have to be a perfect one. Maybe there is not much love, but it is marriage. I mean, people get married for many different reasons. I'm just the one who didn't give her all that excitement and romantic.
And yet he's very tender to Charlotte.
It's true. It's true.
He's trying to be a good husband to her.
He is. In our production, we did lots of. We played around this keeping up appearances. When we are seen in public, we look happy and together. Well, not happy, but we look together. We look like a unit, and we are always surrounded by people and family in this opera. So we look the part. It doesn't matter what happens inside marriage, behind the closed door, but probably she wasn't so happy with the marriage and found somebody else.
Yeah,
because
well,
of that.
you know, this guy, Werther, he's completely different. I mean, he's led by his emotions. Albert is a gentleman, he's kind, he's even civil to Werther, even though he knows this man loves his wife, and he knows his wife loves him.
It's true, and we all know that who loves who and what's going on.
I know,
in
it's
our
very
love
grown
triangle.
up, isn't it?
It is, and even in the original work of Goethe, we are friends. So it's not shown in the opera, but still, in our production, we actually have this friendly communication. We are not. I'm not mad at him. I actually want to help him realize that I am married to Charlotte, and I even offer her sister. As I give him an idea that he could be with the sister as well.
With Sophie.
With Sophie, yes. So I'm trying to work these things out.
Is this what Richard Eyre, your director, recommended to you, or did you have these ideas about your character anyway? I mean, I know it's in the show, but
yes. Well, first thing, this was my debut in the Metropolitan Opera, but also my role debut. I have never done Albert before, and first day of the rehearsals, I came to Richard Eyre and told him that this is my first Albert, and that he's free to do anything he wants, and that I will not interfere. I will work things with him. I will try to meet his ideas, and he was very happy about it. And I thought that things will go crazy and that he will have lots of strange ideas, but no, actually he gave me lots of freedom. He just told me few very simple things, what to think about, how to play Albert, but everything else was me and my emotion and how I read the score and the libretto. It's very simple, you know.
What about musically?
Musically, you mean with Maestro Altinoglu or?
Well, yeah, certainly Maestro Alain Altinoglu is going to be the one who's running that ship. But how do you find the role of Albert musically for you in your voice and the way Massenet writes it?
Oh, for me it fits perfectly. I am, first of all, I'm so grateful to Metropolitan Opera that they have heard my voice as a more lyric baritone than the repertoire I usually sing. You see, my voice is changing, and for the past few years I have been making transition from bass baritone roles like Leporello and Figaro to higher baritone roles like Don Giovanni, Conte, Guglielmo. I'm still talking about Mozart, but I'm slowly introducing French repertoire as well. So the fact that actually 2 years ago I was approached by Metropolitan Opera and offered this role instead of something that was regular repertoire that I've been doing was very encouraging for me to go higher and more lyric. So
because in looking at your bio, it seems like there has been a steady ascent and growing in your career. Is that because your voice was changing little by little?
Yes.
So you were always sort of starting at the beginning of a new kind of voice.
It's true. I think this is the new David Bižić that you're hearing in the Metropolitan Opera. I'm very comfortable with this role. It's very lyric, and I wouldn't say very high, but it lies in the high register, and it requires a different technique that I've been using. So I'm developing my technique and changing completely my voice. So I'm becoming a real baritone now.
And talk about working with Maestro Altinoglu.
Oh, well, it's a great advantage that he's French and conducting French opera, one of the most beautiful French pieces ever written. But the thing with Maestro Altinoglu, he really knows how to breathe with singers. He really knows how to bring the lightness and this feeling of flying over music, as I was explaining before. He knows how to. He changed the orchestra very much. I mean, I remember first rehearsals with the orchestra. It's a wonderful orchestra, of course, but he brought something special. This idea of French music that is like putting butter on bread. You know, just one constant move and when you look at him conducting, we have lots of people coming from in the backstage just to look at him conducting in the monitors, not to watch the show, because he's dancing with us, he's breathing with us, he's smiling, he's so full of joy, he's so much enjoying, he looks like a little kid just playing, you know, being lost somewhere.
During this first intermission of Prince Igor, we're speaking with David Bijic, who sings the role of Albert in Werther. You bring up something very interesting. There are all kinds of different styles of conductors, or even of directors too. What sorts of directors and conductors do you work with best? I can see you responding very well to Maestro Altinoglu. Someone who really works well with people, or someone who's a strong influence and maybe a little above the cast. Mm-hmm. Which do you like best?
Well, I like the ones that I can talk to, that treat us as colleagues, as equals. I'm not saying that conductors and singers should be equals, but I like people and directors and conductors that always leave space for communication to talk about everything. And they encourage a lot. I mean, both of them, Richard and Alain, they were very much encouraging all of us. Usually, when you talk about productions, you try to say the nicest things possible and leave the bad stuff behind. But here, in our production, I really, it's one of the best productions I've ever been in, the part of, because everybody was so nice from the first day. Everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody was happy to be there. There was no 1 minute of some strange situation. It just went well, and we were all happy we are all happy to work together.
I could get that sense from you because we have come to know each other a little bit through just the amount of time that you've been here in New York. Yes. We've seen each other at other people's homes or down in the cafeteria, and there's a sense that I get from you that this was a good experience for you to be here at the Metropolitan Opera, and there's been a sort of a happy lightness about you, even though I didn't know you before. But, you know, some people, I think, come here and are sort of weighed down by the amount of responsibility that debuting at the Met puts on them.
It's true. Well, I still have big responsibility towards myself and opera fans, and not my fans, but people that listen and watch us on stage. I have huge responsibility, but I have two options. Either I enjoy it or I don't, and I do. I do enjoy it, and sometimes comes production that I really don't enjoy myself, and I have to make myself enjoy and not to say fake it, but still, I mean, at the end it's music, it's opera, it's emotion. I have to be on stage, and I try never to be fake on stage. I always follow the words in the music to its core and then deliver. I become somebody else. I always leave David Bijic in the dressing room and come as somebody else. But here in Metropolitan, it's yes. I don't feel pressure on stage. I feel excitement to be there, and I think this role fits me very well. So I don't have some big issues with performing, singing, or anything.
We've only got a couple of minutes left. I've got to know how you came to singing. Can you tell us in a short amount of time?
Yes, when I was 18 or 19, I have decided to go to the amateur choir and just meet friends, meet girls, and the conductor of the choir told me a few weeks later that that something's not working, that he hears me and then he hears others, and that my voice was too strong and very well placed, and that I was not the choir material. So he told me that he can give me some solo parts for the choir if I take some voice lessons. So I said, okay, no problem, more fun for me. And it started. I mean, first teachers that have heard me went crazy about me, and then told me that I have to pursue the singing career. And I always wanted to be an actor, but I had problem of learning lines and dealing with the silence and pause. So I've realized that in opera,
it keeps moving.
It keeps moving, and you have the liberty to do whatever you want within the bars. And I started singing a lot, and I took some serious voice lessons and went from there to Music Academy.
David Bizic performs the role of Albert in Massenet's Werther on the 3rd of March, live on Met Opera Radio, and continuing through the 15th of March, when his final performance will be broadcast live in HD to movie theaters around the world. You know about the HD, right?
Yes, I do.
And they're going to be like tight close-ups, David.
Yes, HD Hello Dolly. It will be.
David Bizic, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Stay with us because there's much more of Prince Igor coming up on Met Opera Radio, Sirius XM.